Alright guys, I'm going to show you here a few of the things that I've acquired to be able to want to do this confidently. Before, I never messed with bow strings and stuff like that. I've always wanted to get into messing with my own bow and just knowing everything about it. I've done a lot of research on it now. Of course, one of the biggest things you're going to have is a bow press. I didn't want to buy a $450 bow press. You ain't got no room for it. But when I finally seen this bow medic here, and I've done it, it's pretty cool. You can put a socket on here or whatever, press your bow. I built me a homemade little bow vise. You're gonna need a bow vise, and then you're gonna need a drawboard. Seen a YouTube video on it, how to do that. I got Winner's Choice custom strings here, and the Hanscom feet. And just a little tip here I learned. I've just been doing a little bit of things on my bows myself, but I started out with these eBay levels, and I don't know how in the world you could get a bubble level out, but these lines were a hair off, so I was going by that, you know, the bubble lines, and it wouldn't perfectly level. That's just the cheapest ones I could find, but now I got the Hanscom level. And of course you're gonna need a D-loop, pliers, learn how to tie a D-loop, little Allen set. I like having my scales. This is just some of the bow stuff I got. But now we need to make sure you get all your measurements and write them down and take pictures. But I do axle, you gotta do axle to axle, just like I said, I learned watching these videos. Axle to axle, get your measurement right. You know, if you're setting up everything, you need to know your center shot on these Mathews here, 13/16. My D-loop, I'm gonna do all these measurements on my D-loop, my kisser, nose button, feet, and all that. Off of my rest, I'm gonna measure off that where this needs to go on that string, if it's gonna wind up being the same on that custom string or not. But it kind of seems like a daunting task, but after I'm watching those videos, I'm confident. Good Lord willing, we can do it. Learn how to do it ourselves. Take this string here, this will be my backup string once I have this custom set. So ride with me and we'll learn what we got to do. It's out there like me that had trouble with bow shops or just want to learn more about your bow, and so you can work on it yourself, you know. If you get you the DIY bow press for the in the field, if you're gonna try to do a whole cable swap and everything on a Mathews v3x or Mathews period, you're gonna have to modify this if you have to change the yokes where you gotta pull the axle. I had to weld this in and modify it so I could drive the axle out. I don't know if you got a good bow press or whatever, but if you're using that one right there, you'll see it in the video. But just the gist of the story, don't be afraid to, and see what I've learned now. I didn't know this for years, but like these holes here, this is a halon here. These holes here are your cam timing. I didn't know that for a long time, and this old jacked up string on here, and it was out of the cam, out of time. So I couldn't ever shoot right. And I had 3 different bow shops. Couldn't figure it out. So that's got me where I'd like to try to do all my own bow work. But if you pull this axle, after you press the bow, pull this axle here, you just loosen this Allen head. You don't have to take both Allen heads out. Loosen this Allen head, drive the pin out, lower your cam down, put a screwdriver or something in it, don't let it fall down. Do the same thing over here. You can loosen this on the same thing over here. Loosen this so you can take one at a time is how I done it. So I can pull one at a time and change them where I don't get them confused where they run. Other than that, it's stupid simple. It's a lot easier than what you would think it is. Don't be afraid to do it. If you get the tools and the time and pray and have the patience to do it, it ain't too bad. Got all my measurements, all what I wanted. The way I done mine was I pulled from the bump stop, got my measurements where everything's at on my string, where I like it. I've had problems in the past with things moving, like if you see the whiteout on my string, I white out everything where it goes anyway, because I've had kissers move and I like to be able to identify where I'm at. So we got everything, we know where everything's at. Our axle's right, so we have that. This is the bow press that I was talking about. So you pull that pin right here, you see, you might be able to sit on the other one. Video purpose, I ain't gonna do it all, but then you put the cable in here and allows the cable to be up out of your way where you can work on your bow, versus some of them of these portable ones are like all in your way with the cable right here. So that's gonna be a benefit to this one. See here guys, prime example, don't be afraid to try. You try to make mistakes and or figure out things along the way. See this thing here, I didn't realize that because the way my split limb bow is, that this fell right in the way of my axle. So what I done was just notched it a little bit for my Allen wrench, gave it a little clearance for my axle bolt to come out. Should have my clearances good now. I'll be back on track. I had a little detour. It's gonna be my first time trying to do this, so like I said, don't be afraid to try. Pray before you do it, because the Lord can help you. All right, guys, with this bow medic, make sure you're clearing your cams. This is what I was talking about. I had to notch it, but see the axle couldn't get the Allen wrench in there, and then that little bit of clearance chewed out the back, so be good to go. And you just draw her down. See, it has a socket, or you can just turn it. Handy. All right, guys, like I said, don't be afraid to try to get her done. I had to bruise the gout because I had to take part of it out. I've never done it, like I said, and you gotta take the axle out to do the 5-piece. I knew you had to take the axle out, but I wasn't paying attention to how this was falling right in front of the axle. So now I've had to modify that so the axle, I can tap it out through one side. About the reason why these have paper clips when they come with your new strings is don't mess up the twists in your strings, so make sure you don't do that. So I'm just gonna feed it. Make sure you don't untwist your. I'm gonna take it off and feed it as I take it off for the new string. Make my first run on drawing back, checking my cam timing and everything. And with your DIY jig, make sure you have a secondary if your D-loop slips. Alright, we can see the bottom cam, which I can see through the hole on the cams. That bottom one's out of time. This one's on time, just like it looked like. You ain't ever seen them in the bow shop do that. Do the under knot and over knot before you put your D-loop on. All right, guys, for tying your D-loop, say this is your, just to get it started. You're gonna come through. I got mine already started here and then decided to make a video of it. Loop it through like that, you know, girth hitch it. Then you're gonna go through the same side, come around and back through it like that. Back around and back through. And you want it to come out the opposite side of this side. And there you go. once you've cut your D-loop to length and got it all where you want to, and you burnt this, I burned it already, did all that, trying to save time in the video here. There you go. You can see I marked above and below my D-loop and my kisser to mark it, so if it ever gets bumped in the field, I know it's moved. All right, guys, I'm shooting it at 20, shooting it a little low, so I brought it to paper. See that first shot? My peep, that was shooting with my peep. This is one hair size smaller peep I'm running, so it's changing things. So then I just did the thing, close your eyes and let it relax, and then blowing bullet holes. So bring it to paper and relax to test your peep and see where it's at before you serve it in.